So at the beginning of the story, we see a girl named Leah who is distraught and in a dark state. The reason for all this is that Leah's father recently died. Because of this, Leah remains lost. Leah's mother, Reese, is also deeply depressed by her father's death. She still hasn't been able to forget the memories of her husband, and this is why she can't even pay attention to her daughter. Leah gradually becomes involved in black magic and witch rituals, which she finds solace in. Her friends Janice, Aaron, and Rob support her in all these activities. They all enjoy it immensely. Everyone else does it for fun, but that's not the case for Leah. In fact, she does all this to invoke her father's death. From there, Leah goes to her favorite author, Ron, who writes books on things like black magic. Leah asks him to give her a good book on black magic with lots of rituals. Ron then gives her a book called the Occult Primer, and says it contains all the rituals she needs, but to use it carefully. Not just Leah, but the entire group is a huge fan of Ron's books. They were all sitting together discussing Ron's books. In the middle of this discussion, Janice puts her poor dirty self in front of everyone and says that we shouldn't follow our parents' advice as much as we do. They make mistakes just like us, so why do we listen to them? Now Janice's terrible idea has become ingrained in everyone's minds. After this, when Leah arrives home, her mother is waiting for her. She asks Leah, "Where are you coming from so late at night?" Leah doesn't tell her mother anything because the same words Janice had said are still running through her mind. Meanwhile, Reese tells Leah, "Look, dear, I can't live in this place anymore. I miss your dad here. Every day is so hard for me. I want to get over the trauma. That's why I've decided we'll sell this house and move away from here to another house where we can start a new life." Hearing this, Leah starts crying because she's sad that she'll be separated from her friends. Angered by this, Leah starts reading more about black magic and beaches. Well, the next day, when Leah tells her friends about this, they are also very disappointed. But what can they do? After school, she takes Reslia to see her new house, which was in a forest far from the populated areas. There weren't any other houses nearby, and this was the kind of house Reslia wanted because she needed peace. After that, they moved all their belongings into the house and started living there the next day. Reslia was completely happy with her new beginning, but Leah wasn't because now she wouldn't get to spend as much time with her friends. She feels like her mother is the villain, but that's not the case at all. If Reslia wanted to, she could have even changed Reslia's school, but she didn't do that because she didn't want Leah to be separated from her friends. Instead, she had to drive 2 hours to drop Leah off at school and pick her up and then do her own work. The biggest problem was race, which Leah couldn't see. She was speaking rudely to her mother. This sparked an argument between them. Leah wasn't showing any respect to her mother. During their argument, Race told Leah that if she had died with her dad, she wouldn't have felt any pain. Hearing this, Leah burst into tears. She then ran into the woods and vented her anger. She then said, "I want you to die." Leah then went home and wrote down a ritual from her primer book. She then gathered all the materials needed for the ritual, including a red thread, milk, and her wax hair. With all of these items, she returned to the forest. After finding the right spot, she first tapped a tree 3 times with a stone. Throughout all this, she continuously chanted a mantra. She then drew a triangle on the ground with a knife. She then drew a star around herself with the red thread. She then drew an inverted cross on her forehead. She poured milk into a bowl and poured some strange ingredients into it. She then cut her hand and poured her blood into the milk. She then dug out the triangle, placed her wax hair inside, and poured the bloody milk into it. She then collected the red thread, placed it in the pit, and buried it. Then he tapped the tree 3 times with the stone to complete the ritual. The ritual was to summon a spirit named Pyewacket into her world, and Leah's ritual brought Pyewacket back into this world. She followed Leah from there. Afterward, Leah returns home. The first thing she does is go to the bathroom to clean the blood off her hands. Then, as she sits down to tend to her fever, a cut on her hand begins to bleed and spills onto her plate. Seeing this, Race is horrified. She quickly gives Leah first aid and asks her how it happened. Leah explains that she sustained the injury in an accident. Race then tells Leah, "Son, I shouldn't have said what I said to you. I'm just a little upset with myself. Please forgive me." Now, seeing her mother crying in front of her, she forgives her. Now all the grievances between them are gone. But what about the Pyewacket? She'll finish her job. That night, Abelia can't sleep because she's afraid the Pyewacket might come, and she stays up all night in fear. The next morning, she wakes up to find their door open and a lot of mud underneath. This means someone from the forest had entered during the night. Leah quickly cleans up the area so Rez doesn't find out. Then when they go shopping at a shop in the afternoon, Leah realizes that she's performed the ritual, but this is about to be the biggest mistake of her life. She knows that these rituals are usually fake, but if it turns out to be real, it will be much worse. Well, after this, when they were heading home, they narrowly escaped an accident. Leah saw this. Now she understood that her mother was in danger of death. Upon reaching home, her mother was overjoyed that they had survived. But how could Leah know that nothing had happened yet? There would be much more trouble ahead. Finally, one night while Leah was sleeping, she suddenly heard the sound of someone walking upstairs. Frightened, she quickly went to Race and told him, "Look, someone's upstairs." But when Race went upstairs and checked, no one was there. Race told Leah that she might have had a bad dream, but Leah was convinced that it wasn't a dream, but it was real. The next day, Leah went to bed early. When her mother came to check on her, Leah was asleep. Seeing Leah asleep, her mother turns off the light and leaves, which she shouldn't have done. These days, Leah deliberately sleeps with the light on so she doesn't have any trouble. But now the light is off. After the light is off, Pyewacket comes into Leah's room. At first, Pyewacket was quietly watching her in a corner, but then gradually moves closer to her. When Leah wakes up the next morning, she finds herself in the same forested area where she performed the ritual. Leah's hand is bleeding profusely. This means that Pyewacket has once again taken blood from her. She quickly runs home and then goes to school, where she tells her friends everything. None of them, except Leah, believe her, because they believe rituals don't work. It's just for fun. Rob tells Leah that it's not about anything strange happening to her, but about trying to kill her mom. Janice tells Leah that she also wants to know what's going on. "Don't be afraid, I'll stay with you tonight. It'll be fun." After school, Janice goes to Leah's house with her. They have a lot of fun together. They go out into the woods at night, smoking. Everything was perfect. But then suddenly, Janice freezes, as if something has happened to her. First, she stares at Leah, then turns and starts walking towards the woods. Leah is horrified by this. But later, it turns out it was nothing but a silly joke from Janice. After arriving home, they both plan to sleep. Leah goes upstairs to her room, and she puts Janice down on the couch. Janice has no problem sleeping there either. She was enjoying herself, sleeping comfortably. But suddenly, in the middle of the night, she wakes up because someone was hovering over her. The scene then shifts to the next morning, where Race comes to Leah, wakes her up and asks her where Janice is. Together, they search the house frantically for Janice. But Janice wasn't even home, having locked herself in her race car. She was terrified. The mother and son ask, "What's wrong with you?" Janice replies, "I don't know anything, just take me home." Leah tries to approach her and ask her, but Janice says, "Go away, don't even try to come near me." Seeing Janice's condition, they both drop her off at her home. Things have escalated, so Leah seeks help from her favorite author, Ron, who wrote the Occult primer. He tells Ron his entire fortune in an email. The next day, when Leah arrives at her school, Janice hasn't come to school yet. This has also upset Aaron. But Leah doesn't tell him anything about this because she doesn't want anything bad to happen to him like Janice did. Ron then contacts Leah and tells her that she has summoned the spirit into her world. Now it must complete its task. After this, it will haunt the one who summoned it. If you want to destroy this curse, you must perform this ritual again. But now in reverse, before it kills your mother. Complete this ritual quickly. And yes, remember that Pyewacket is a dangerous shapeshifter. This means she can take the form of anyone. So don't trust anyone until this curse is lifted because Pyewacket will try to stop you. Now, having learned this, Leah quickly catches a bus and heads home. On her way home, Leah notices that someone is following her. But without looking back, Leah quickly runs home. Then she starts gathering all the things she had done before. Then she quickly heads back to the place. But then she hears her mother's voice calling out to her. But Leah knew full well that this was all a ruse. Brother Bucket was trying to stop her. Ignoring this, she went back to the scene and began performing the ritual in reverse. But then suddenly she stopped because her mother's dead body was lying in front of her. Her mother was still calling out to her from behind. Seeing this, Leah quickly realized that Brother Bucket had killed her mother and was after her. Terrified, Leah quickly called the police, informing them that her mother had died, and now she was also in danger. Leah also called Aaron, who would take at least an hour to arrive. Leah couldn't see the thing, but we could see that it wasn't a corpse, but rather that she was alive. It wasn't her mother's dead body, but the very Pyewacket that had stopped the ritual. A short while later, Leah receives a message from Aaron, informing her that he's near her house. When she arrives, she finds Aaron gone, but instead Pyewacket disguised as her mother. She first lures Leah inside by talking to her. She then quickly transforms into her true form and charges towards her, hoping to kill her. However, Leah manages to break a window and escape. Pyewacket still refuses to give up her pursuit. Leah then has to return to her house and hide in the attic. But then someone else arrives, her real mother, Reese. Seeing Leah in such a state, she comes to her and tries to calm her down, telling her, "I saw you going into the woods, and even tried to call out to you." But Leah doesn't respond because she's so convinced that this is Pyewacket, not her mother. Now, Leah has to kill the demon by any means necessary, so she goes outside, drains the fuel from the car, and then douses Race with the same fuel, driving him alive. Race screams and writhes in agony, but Leah still believes it's Pyewacket. Now, along with Race, Her entire home is gone. When Aaron arrives a short while later, he finds Leah lying outside. The scene then shifts, and we see Leah with the police. The police tell Leah, "As you told us, your mother's dead body is in the woods. We didn't find your mom's dead body anywhere, but instead we found her walking inside the house." Only then did Leah realize that she hadn't killed the demon, but her own mother. That means the Pyewacket fulfilled her wish, but at her own hands. And with that, friends, the movie ends. Friends, this movie also teaches a valuable lesson. If Janice hadn't said that in public, Leah wouldn't have harbored such negative thoughts about her mother, nor would she have considered killing her. So friends, company does matter. Even if it's a little, it does have an impact on you. So sit down and watch a little of your own. Friends, please tell us how you liked the movie by commenting below.